Alright, Budget Magic, Blue-White Enchantment Control, Caleb D. I think this is a mulligan. Alright, I guess that's better. Monastery Siege is good. So I think Caleb is on Jund. At least he was earlier today in the mocks. Don't need that island. Have no idea how this matchup will work out. For being a mulligan, this hand's not horrible, mostly because of Monastery Siege. Shambling Vent. Alright, Valving Wilds, sack that to get a Plains. This doesn't look like Jund. Tap land. Alright, get a Plains. Tranquil Cove, ship the turn. Well, now we just want to get down our Monastery Siege and start drawing. Oh, this looks like Esper. Well, I think we'll wait. Really want Monastery Siege to resolve. Gideon? Well, we will negate Gideon. Plains, Monastery Siege on Cons, the loot mode. Fortunately, that can get hit by Utter End. Alright, get to loot. We will discard an island, play an island, pass the turn. Up to 6 lands. Silk Wrap and Silk Wrap. Alright, we'll pitch a Silk Wrap, play an island, or a Plains. Well, at least we can play Bladed Cataract next turn. That'll draw some cards. Unfortunately, we don't have an answer to Ugin at the moment. We'll pitch a Valving Wilds, play Bladed Cataract, pass the turn. We got creatures on lock, but we don't have an answer to Ugin. Are we going to get dug by dig through time? Or is this just, yeah, it's a dig. There's the dig. Well, we got creatures pretty well under control. Oh boy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. To me, this suggests Ugin. Ob Nixilis, leaving up counter magic. Alright, well, we are going to want to find a way to deal with that. So let's sack Bladed Cataract. There's Quarantine Field. And Starfield. Ooh. Well, I think we pitch this Silk Wrap now. I think we lead on Sphinx's Tutelage. See if that draws out the counter. It does. So now we can Plains in Quarantine Field to get rid of Ob Nixilis. Still really soft to an Ugin. Gideon. Well, we can deal more with Gideon. Oh, man. Utter End. Alright, well, that is bad, but it also means we get to resolve a Starfield, which is pretty big game. Loot. Pitch a Tranquil Cove, I guess. And yeah, we will just Starfield, Tranquil Cove. This is going to be an interesting match. If they have an Ugin, we're still in trouble. Otherwise, we can kind of compete. Whiffs on the Despise. Makes another Gideon. Oh, activates Gideon. Alright, so we're taking our beats here. Our opponent's trying to pick up the pace. Yep, down to 15. Draws with Obnixilus. Fathom Feeder. Alright, that's not the end of the world. Well, I think we just need to get back our tutelage here and start the milling. So we get to target, we get to loot. Citadel Siege. I think we pitch Citadel Siege. Get some triggers. Fathom Feeder, a Shambling Vent, and 2 lands. Ugin's Insight, probably going to get countered. It does not. Whoa. Well, in that case, I think we bottom, 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 top Ugin's Insight, top Suppression Bonds, and we get a bunch more triggers. What do we get? Land, Stasis Snare, Jace, Read the Bones, Scatter, Planner Outburst Land. Yep. So now we can play Blighted Cataract and just pass the turn. So our opponent not going to draw. Looks like a dig. Draws with Obnixilus. We also are going to have to deal with that. Makes an emblem. Okay. Fires up Shambling Vent. Fires up Shambling Vent. I guess we just Stasis Snare a Shambling Vent. And we do take a bunch of damage, unfortunately. Opponent ingests a Plains. Alright, we get to return... I guess Silk Wrap? Is that right? Or Citadel Siege? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We could deal 11 damage. Let's go safe and just Silk Wrap. Silk Wrap. Get rid of Fathom Feeder. Another Suppression Bonds. That's good. And a Planner Outburst. We don't need that now. So I guess we just discard Planner Outburst. Do some more milling. Opponent's down to 14 cards. So now we need to 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppression Bonds, Obnixilus. Play a land. And do we just have to pass here? I guess we attack. We can attack and kill Gideon. And then I think we gotta just pass. Alright. It's a close one. It is a close one. Opponent's gonna Silk Wrap. Get rid of our tutelage. Okay. Maybe we should have attacked Obnixilus just because if they draw an Utter End and can ultimate, we just lose. Stasis Snare. What are they aiming for? Hits our Stasis Snare, which gets back their Shambling Vent. Plays another Gideon. Makes a token. Does our opponent attack? They do. Well, I think we need to Stasis Snare, get rid of the non-attacking Knight token, and then block with stasis snare there. Yeah, I think that works. Nice little 2-for-1 with stasis snare. And then we get to return a Citadel Siege. And I think we set it... I think we'll still set it on dragons. We get to loot. Pitch the pacifism. Jeez. Well, quarantine field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. X3, and we can hit, yeah. Get Gideon, get Silk Lash, get Obnixilus. And I guess we're safe to attack. Ugin still is a blowout and a half. Jace. Jace isn't what we were worried about. Tap Jace. Alright, return Silk Wrap. Yep. Gets rid of Jace. Do we have it? We're about to kill on 2 different ways. Tutelage, loot with Siege. Another Ugin's Insight. So mill down to 10, mill down to 8. Ugin's Insight. We definitely keep negate. Bottom, bottom, bottom. We'll keep those 3. Good enough. 3 more triggers. It would be nice to get a double here. Six, 4, 2. No, I think we're just going to pass. If we attack, they block with Shambling Vent. Potentially kill something and blow us out. There's just so many things that can go wrong. So I think we're safer just to sit on this negate. Trust that our opponent can't kill us with 2 cards in their hand and 2 cards in their library. And then win on their draw step next turn. And maybe they don't even have an Ugin. Ojutai's command to get back Fathom Feeder? Sure. I don't think Fathom Feeder is the card that ruins our plans. And we got there. Woo-hoo, man. Well, no main deck Ugins in 1 main deck Utter End by the looks. Sweet. Well, in this control matchup, we want Silk Wrap over Pacifism, negates, dispels, and a Cranial Archive. And we can get rid of Wraths, get rid of Dampening Pulse. Do we want the Dragon Lord's Prerogative? Maybe cut a Pacifism for a Dragon Lord's Prerogative. Yeah, Orbs of Warding probably doesn't do enough. Alright, we'll try it like this. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Got a Tutelage, got some card draw, got a Suppression Bonds for a Planeswalker. Alright, Valving Wilds, go. Yeah, we might as well get an island. Shambling Vents. Well, Valving Wilds. Get an island. Go. Nothing for our opponent yet. Now I think we'll just play Tranquil Cove. I don't think we want to run Sphinx's Tutelage into a counterspell. Once it resolves, they don't have very many ways of getting it off the battlefield. So we want to wait until they tap out for something, preferably, or until we draw some sort of counter magic. Valving Wilds. Thinning a lot of lands out of our deck. That's nice. Get a Plains. Just play a Plains. Still not going to run out Tutelage. Now we're actually ahead on lands and our opponent missed a land drop. So you don't want to give them a counter for a target for a counter spell when they could be discarding to hand size. Oh, they drew a land. Oh, negate sweet. Do we want to pick this battle yet? Probably not. Let's just play a Plains. Keep being patient. Play the control game. Tutelage is a solid control finisher. And still, our opponent we know doesn't have a land in their hand. But we do. If they go for dig, we're countering. We're not letting them dig for lands. Not happening. We like them being pinched on mana. And this might make them do something a little risky. Like, ooh, and a Dispel. Well, let's just play Blighted Cataract past the turn. Keep being patient. We're making our land drops. We're drawing cards. They're not. That's where we want to be. In a control mirror, that in and of itself is sometimes enough to win the game. So our opponent had a lot of cards they didn't want if they're bringing in Arishan Clerics against a deck that wins by milling. But we're going to sacrifice this. Stasis Snare and another negate. Now I think we are going to force out this Tutelage. Scatter. We will dispel the scatter. And then just pass, leave up our negate. Go back to playing the control game. Utter End. Well, hopefully they don't have a dispel. They do have a dispel. That's alright. What do we draw? Suppression Bonds. Well, now I think we'll just Silk Wrap this Arishan Cleric so we get a Scry and then Ugin's Insight. And we will keep both of those. And we found the Tutelage too. We played a land, right? Yep. Oh no, we didn't. Alright, so we're in good shape. I like where we're at. Way ahead on lands. Got multiple answers to Planeswalkers. Opponent goes with Read the Bones. Still looking for lands. Duress to take a Tutelage, most likely. Thing is, we also have the ability potentially to just play through our entire deck, since we have a Cranial Archive. Is this a Jace? Another Duress. Probably to take negate. Alright, our opponent fires off a bunch of discard, hoping we don't draw anything, and we draw a Tutelage off the top. That's got to be disappointing for our opponent. Nothing feels worse than having your opponent draw the card you just duressed. They have another answer. Gideon. Yep, makes a night. Well, let the milling begin. Pull up the graveyard here. A couple lands. So we will Suppression Bonds Gideon. Valving Wilds. Pass the turn. Opponent still knows our hand in its entirety. Another Shambling Vents. Fires it up. Do we want to stasis snare that? It might be worth it. I think it's worth getting rid of Shambling Vent. Alright, Crack Valving Wilds. Think we'll take an island. Another Suppression Bonds. Mill, a couple things. And we'll just pass here. And Blighted Cataract during our opponent's turn. Another Gideon. Well, luckily we have another Suppression Bonds. But they get to make another token. Yep, we take 2. And now we get to draw 2. Ooh, there's Cranial Archive too, and a Silk Wrap. That was good. Alright, Mill. Lands, Gideon, Fathom Feeder. Mill a couple more. Alright, so I think we lead on Suppression Bonds Gideon. Gets countered. Well, then we will Suppression Bonds Gideon. So our opponent can hit us for 6 with Shambling Vent. They could also play an Ugin, which is scary. Looks like Shambling Vent though. So we're going to take 6 here. It's kind of a lot. Down to 10. Mill a Jace. So now I think the plan is play the land. What's in our graveyard? Lots of negates. Well, I guess we can play Silk Wrap. Gets scattered. Okay. Well, then we will 1, 2. Well, Quarantine Field X2. Get rid of both tokens. Slows down the clock a lot. And then run out the Cranial Archive. Empty-handed. Shields down. No Ugins. Also, no Utter Ends. That's also pretty bad. Jace isn't bad. I guess it is bad, but it's not bad yet. It's bad because it will flash back an Utter End. But, alright, we get hit by Shambling Vent, draw planes, mill a couple things, Cranial Archive, targeting ourselves, draw Suppression Bond, mill a couple things, Suppression Bond the Jace, and we'll just pass the turn. Man, this is going to come right down to the wire. It really depends on what our opponent draws. We did mill another Utter End, so that's good. That might be the last one. How many lands do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I might have been right to play that land last turn. Uh-oh, is this Ugin? Planner Outburst. Oh dear. What do we draw? Tranquil Cove. That actually changes the clock. So we are going to loot with Tutelage. Get another trigger. Discard planes. That was actually a mistake. A fairly major mistake. Should have... Oh man, we could have just won right there, most likely. Oh man, that was bad. Duress on the Ugin's Insight. So now we actually could lose because of that. If I had kept the untap land, we could have Ugin's Insight and won. Now we might lose. Well, we draw an Ugin's Insight. Did not get punished for our misplay. Does our opponent have a counter? Is that the last card? Did we get there? Alright, scatter with Awaken. So we cross our fingers and hope that we get a double here. Do we get it? Do we get a double? No! Oh my god. Alright. Jeez, what an epic match this is turning out to be. I think we want the last Dispel. We can cut down even another Pacifism. Bring in Orb. And yeah. I think we'll try it like this. Oh man. Alright, game 3. Should have won game 2 if I hadn't punted. And oh man. This hand is not great against our opponent's deck. I guess it depends on their draw. If their plan is to get us with Jaces, then this hand is excellent. I think our opponent knows that we punted that match or game away. Planes, I guess. Stasis Snare is fine. Duress. Assuming it's just Stasis Snare that they take. Yep, another Shambling Vent. Get another Plains. Suppression Bonds is good. At least that's an answer to a Planeswalker. Uh-oh. Is your opponent playing something? A Jace. Okay. Well, let's play Island. Silk Wrap the Jace. Gideon? Yep. Well, luckily we drew that Suppression Bonds. Hopefully our opponent does not have Utter End. Utter End would be a blowout. Is this Obnixless? Oh, Shambling Vent attack. Okay. Well, I don't think we're in horrible shape. Another land. So I think we just Tutelage. Pass the turn. See if we can catch a Shambling Vent with a Stasis Snare. Ooh, another Gideon's bad. We don't have a solid answer for that at the moment. Plains. Mill a Gideon. Well, I guess we need to Silk Wrap a token. Unfortunately, play a Plains. Pass the turn. We're still hoping to hit a Gideon. We're hoping he goes aggressive and attacks with Gideon. Shambling Vent. Fathom Feeder. Yep, alright, we do get to catch the Gideon. So that really helps. Still, we're getting low. We're going to need more. Suppression Bonds isn't the worst. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we take the hit for now in Blighted Cataract and see what we can draw into. Oh boy. No attack with Shambling Vent. That probably means scatter the wind. Or scatter to the wind. Exile's a Dispel. Wouldn't have minded drawing a Dispel. Sack time. Oh, they're going to utter end Tutelage in response. Okay. Well, I think we Ugin's Insight. So we're taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we got to put Cataract on the bottom. And top the other two. But we're still in a bit of trouble. Because we are one enchantment short of turning on our Starfield. Ingest a Stasis Snare. Well, I guess we need to play Tranquil Cove to go up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppression Bond a token. And now we hope our opponent doesn't have a land for double Shambling Vent. And they draw the land. So now we lose. We were 1 turn short of actually winning. Oh, that's... Well, I punted away the game. Really disappointing. Oh well, live and learn. That's one of the things. Making 2 or 3, not just videos, but unique decks each week. Stuff like that happens. There's only only so many matches you get in with each game, so sometimes bad punts happen, but we easily could have won that. We should have won that match. If I didn't punt, we would have won game 2, and we were very close to game 3 as well. So I think that's actually a good matchup.